decision. It's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead.
I'm so glad to be in the studio of Unity 93.3 FM. Today is Wednesday, 22nd November 2023. Beatrice Adamu Iji remains my name, the anchor of Unity Train this morning, and we are reaching you live from the hills of ZINARIYA in Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria, the home of peace and tourism. And of course, that is why you need to be deliberate in your efforts to build more and more peace on the plateau, by extension in Nigeria. This morning, it promises to be very, very interesting. I have in the studio for this first segment of Unity Train someone who knows how to do it. He's a friend and of the station, and so he's in the studio this morning. It's an honor for me to introduce and let you know that I'm in with Professor PH Abamayi. Prof, it's good to have you this morning.
Good to have you also. Good morning, Kulbi. Good morning, our viewers and our listeners. This is a beautiful Wednesday morning. We're in the middle of the week, and I'm sure that all of us have been able to achieve one thing or the other. Monday, Tuesday, and now it's Wednesday, and we'll be taking stock to see how we can accomplish our goals for the week.
Yes.
Good morning to the good people of Plateau State and Nigeria and viewers around the world. We're going to be having a very wonderful time this morning. Please remain tuned to 93.3 FM radio and Unity TV. And on this Unity train, it will be taking us to a fantastic destination this morning.
Yes, I believe it will be taking us to a fantastic destinations, and they say charity begins at home, but this probably is not charity. However, we will begin at home, and so let's see what is obtainable that has to do with us on the plateau. It's politics. It says Plateau Assembly gets new speaker and deputy. Wow. So, Prof, we have a lot, and seeing that you're here, there's a lot of other headlines, of course, but let's just see what we will talk about that has to do with the incidents, the causes, why should it be, and for what good is this?
You know, just yesterday something a bit surprising happened in the Plateau State House of Assembly, Jos. In the middle of plenary, the Speaker of the House of Assembly announced his resignation. And he handed over to the Deputy Speaker. The Deputy Speaker continued the proceedings. And he also, towards the end, also announced his own resignation.
It's a big drama.
It's a big drama. So the Speaker of the House of Assembly resigned. The Deputy Speaker also resigned. All within 1 or 2 hours, within a few hours, of plenary yesterday. And this is rather very surprising.
It's surprising.
But you know that those who have been predicting that something unusual is going to happen to such people is not a surprise. And probably to those of us political analysts, current affairs analysts, we understand the drama that is going on behind the scene. Some people see the resignation of the Speaker as an attempt to save face, in the sense that, there have been several court rulings in recent times against the PDP. He comes from the PDP. The Deputy Speaker who also resigned is from the PDP. And the new Speaker who emerged is from the YPP. Amazingly, because YPP is considered a minority party. And his own deputy of the new Speaker that emerged is from the PDP. But he doesn't have a case in court. I think nobody is contesting against him, in spite of the fact that he's from the PDP. So people are speculating that the reason why the Speaker resigned is because of all these court rulings against PDP. And so he decided, well, let me exit before there are more problems, you know. And this is a big drama in the Plateau State House of Assembly, and indeed in the state of Plateau State. The emergence of the new speaker who took over from the former speaker Moses Sule, I said this from the YPP, is rather, I think, instructive, because the new speaker Timothy Danton, representing Riom constituency, is somebody that I think is not well known to us in Plateau politics. However, from his opening speech, from what he said, it appears that he has a lot to offer. Okay. But I can tell you that the drama has not yet ended. This drama is going to continue until things stabilize. Yes. And things are going to only stabilize when the Supreme Court gives a ruling on the gubernatorial elections in Plateau State, and whoever the Supreme Court rules in his favor sits on the seat as the governor of Plateau State and organize things in the state. That is when we'll have less drama in the House of Assembly, and things will pretty take shape. So as of now, the former speaker has not come out, Moses Sule has not come out to say specifically that I'm resigning because of A, B, C, D. Probably we'll need to ask him, you know. But we can only speculate because we know the drama that is going on in the Plateau State Assembly, and indeed the whole of Plateau State, because if you go to the government house, you know there is that uneasy calm because of the many things that are happening currently. So I think we'll just keep praying, so the and then watch what is happening.
So the young man Gabriel of YPP.
Okay, it's Gabriel. Yes.
Gabriel.
I was trying to get
the one.
Gabriel.
Gabriel Dewan.
Gabriel Dewan. And then what's the name of his deputy?
His deputy at the moment.
I think the deputy is the one I called Timothy Danton.
So is a story. Okay, we're yet to go through it on and on to be able to figure out what possibly could have caused that. By the time we get full, details of it's breaking actually, and so it's breaking. And for us on the plateau,
details are still trying to emerge.
Yes, so please.
Gabriel Dewang is from Panction North constituency in the Plateau State Assembly. So we'll get to know more about him and probably get some more details.
Yes.
I'm sure that he will be talking more to media.
Yes.
Today and in days to come. So let's watch out for the details, and let's watch the drama. Let's pray that the drama will end in the favor of Plateau State citizens, and that the story will have a good ending.
And this one is so sad to read about, getting to know that it's a security issue, Prof.
Yes.
And I'm sure you would have a lot to say there. Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa yesterday revealed that Boko Haram members held in prisons across the country still carry out their criminal operations through the help of some prison warders.
Yes.
You can imagine.
You can imagine, yeah. These were some of the revelations coming from the Chief of Defense Staff himself, Christopher Musa, that even when Boko Haram members are still in prison, they're able to still organize attacks, nefarious attacks. They're still able to carry out the evil plans they have, you know. And because that there is some form of collaboration, collusion, they collude with warders, prison warders. You know, you have people who are sympathetic to the cause of Boko Haram, and we have them in various spheres of society. There are people who feel what Boko Haram is doing is okay. We like it.
Yes.
We support it. They might not come out publicly to say it because they will be condemned. But deep down in their hearts, they're happy with what Boko Haram is doing. And because we have these various people in different services, some of them are in the prison service, some are even in the police, even in the military, if you know what has happened in this country in more than 10 years now, we've had situations where even military men colluded with terrorists. So it is not surprising that Boko Haram members in prison are still able to organize attacks, are still able to talk with their fellows outside, they are able to send out information, and they are able to still continue to kill innocent citizens. And these revelations came while Christopher Musa was interacting with a committee of the House of Representatives. And that was not the only revelation, because he was trying to point out the reason why it is difficult to handle this insecurity in the country, why it has taken so long. Many other factors, like underfunding, the military is underfunded, security forces are underfunded. There are other issues like lack of enough utilities, like vehicles, and the rest of them, and many other things that the Chief of Defense Staff pointed out that are affecting their ability to be able to give Nigerians the kind of security that we deserve. He was not the only one, but there were other service chiefs who were there who also expressed their opinions, who made other revelations about the things happening in the country as it concerns insecurity. And except something drastic is done, these problems will continue. The military and other security services in the country are grossly underfunded. Motivation, the morale is not at its peak. And you look at the landscape of the country is quite huge, and we don't have enough personnel also. Those are some of the problems. And then you have a situation where within the services, there are people who are sabotaging the efforts of their comrades. And this is why this matter of insecurity has persisted, especially in the last more than 10 years. We've been talking about Boko Haram will be annihilated, they will be destroyed, but they are still active. Even recently, they have carried out attacks. So except something drastic is done, we'll continue to have not only Boko Haram, but other terrorists. The bandits are there, attacking in the northwestern part of the country, where they seem to have specialized. And of course, we have all manner of kidnappers of different kinds. We have ISWAP there, who are the neighbors of Boko Haram in the northeast. We have IPOP in the southeast and across the country. We also have the herdsmen that attack from time to time. So except something drastic is done, we'll continue to have this problem of insecurity. And what needs to be done is that these security services need to come together, collaborate, work as one, instead of dividing their efforts and feeling everybody is on his own. There needs to be this collaboration so that they can have a common front against these terrorists, and they need to be properly funded, motivated. The morale needs to be extremely high if they have to overcome, if they have to deal with these terrorists, because these terrorists are well funded. These terrorists are equipped, they have weapons, and so our security services will need weapons that are much more superior to these terrorists to be able to deliver the kind of security mandate that we require of them.
Oh, I see. And let's just go to see what we have to talk around the issues of judges' power to annul polls needs review. And this one is credited to one former military and, of course, civilian presidents of this great country, Nigeria, Obasanjo. He has been there to write letters. He has been there You know, he will not see something and then say nothing. He will always see and then say. And it appears, yesterday we discussed one of the headlines that also shows that he said democracy has failed in Africa.
Yes.
So if someone like Obasanjo would be saying that democracy has failed in Nigeria, it means that every effort in his capacity, you know, it's like he's losing hope or something, and suggesting some Afro, you know, kind of a democracy for us, you know, in Africa. And today, again, another big one. Well, this one seems to be some kind of opinion from the former president. So, Prof.
Well, I think Obasanjo is like me. The man will always express his opinion. It doesn't matter whether you like his opinion, you hate it, you detest it, he will give his opinion. He doesn't care who is angry or who is happy. And he likes writing. I also like writing. Probably I've learned from him, you know. So, and what I like about Obasanjo is that he's frank. He's not hypocritical. If he doesn't like something, he will say, I don't like it. If he says black, he will not say it is white. He will say it is black. And he has expressed the concern of many Nigerians in recent times. Is it the judges that are conducting elections for us? Is it the judges that are electing our politicians, or it is the citizens who are the ones doing the election, who are the ones that are supposed to elect our political officials, elect our governors, members of the House of Assembly, reps, you know, senators, you know, and also who are the ones? Is it not supposed to be the electorate? Now the electorate have elected the people they want. Then it goes to court, and then the court say, no, we know you elected this one, he has the highest number of votes, but because of technicalities, the election is nullified. The other person is the one that will become your governor. You know, we've seen that happening. A classical case was Hope Uzodinma. Myself and my friends will call Hope Uzodinma the Supreme Court governor because he was number 4. And the Supreme Court said, well, because some votes were not counted in certain places, you know, and all that, then suddenly they did not declare number 2 or number 3. It was number 4 that was declared the winner, and he was made the governor, and he has remained the governor up to today. So these are issues that we need to look at. My own opinion is that judges, when they annul elections, should ask us to go back to the polling units. Let's vote again. Don't decide who becomes the leader of the people. Let's go back to the ballot box. Let's go back to our polling units. Let's go back and cast votes again. And of course, I know, you know, people will say, well, you know, you need to look at the Constitution. What does the Constitution say? What does the law say? You know, and all this. There will be arguments here and there. But when you look at the judgments, they are not even consistent. I can deliver a judgment on a particular case. Could be you, another judge, will deliver judgment on the same case with the same evidence and facts, and it will be a different judgment. Because it is subjective. It's a matter of my opinion based on the evidence available, the arguments. I just feel that, okay, you know, this is the judgment. That's why we have split judgments in many cases. In few cases, we have unanimous judgments, but it is still an opinion of the judges. So we need to really look at it. I think that when it comes to the case of elected officials, if you have to cancel the election, let there be a provision where people will go back and let's rerun the election. Let's do another election. Let the electorate decide, not the judges. Not the judges say, well, because we've disqualified the other person, the second person should become, or the third person, or the fourth person, like maybe in another case now it will be the fifth or the sixth person. I think that is not good for our democracy, because when you do this, what happens is that you allow an unpopular leader to to lead the people, and the people feel subjugated. The people feel that their opinion does not count. In a democracy, democracy is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. The people are supposed to decide. The majority are supposed to have their way, and the minority will have their say. But in a situation where it is the minority that are having their way, the minority that are deciding, the minority that are governing, there is a problem. And that's what happens when elections are annulled, and then you bring in the person who did not have the highest votes, but based on technicalities, that person comes into power, the citizens will not be happy. And when people are not happy, and you're leading them, you're going to have a problem. Because the morale of the people is low, the people are not motivated, the people feel frustrated. That's why some people are even saying, why do we go out to vote? Why do we do elections? We had people who have said they are not going to go out and vote because their votes will not count. So when we don't allow the electorate to decide our leaders, we give credence to the assertion that the votes of the people doesn't count as far as our own democracy is concerned. So this matter that Obasanjo is raising is a very serious issue, listeners and viewers. Very serious issue that we need to look at again. Even if it means reviewing our electoral act or looking at our constitution to adjust relevant sections and ensure that in a case where elections are cancelled, do the election again. Let the electorate choose their leaders, not the court, not the judges. One person should not choose who rules a state. One person should not choose who becomes a senator or a member of the House of Rep. No, it shouldn't be one person. Let the electorates again go back and vote, no matter what it costs us. We are ready. Let's go back and let there be another election. Let the people vote.
All right, we've taken all of our time, but how I wish we have just the time to also talk about regions with support holes, FEMA Bos, OKs, Lafia, Shendam, 366 million road, and then also to have time and also look at this. States spend 1.7 trillion naira on trips, meals, others borrow 988 billion naira. There's a lot, Prof, but time is not on our side. But at this, so, but I think our listener and our viewer, it's time for us to just go on a short break. When we come back, we see what we do. If we would have to go through some of these headlines, or we just go straight on our topic, that remains to see. And just stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Get ready to be entertained and inspired by the incredible stories around the globe. Don't miss out on the excitement. Hello at Work is an ultimate TV program that brings to you the interesting stories and daily happenings worldwide. Join us Mondays and Thursdays 10 a.m. as we dive into the daily happenings and stories. Tune in and stay. Say hello to the world as you bring in your ideas, as it is a perfect blend of entertainment and information. Get ready to stay up to date while being entertained.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call 0700 225 5226, 0800 225 5226, or +234 817 665 6273. Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
Please pay attention. It starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way.
It concerns you. It a kill law, it a kill dreams. It a land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune in to Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
the head boy in my primary school, senior prefect and best graduating student in my secondary school, but drug abuse almost ruined my life.
I was on an average of 2 grams of cocaine per day.
I was taking 8 ampoules of pentazosine daily.
European shisha, cocaine.
I became a user, a dealer, and a gangster.
I saw other users drowning. I knew I didn't want to be like them, but I was already trapped.
My family disowned me.
My employment was terminated.
I sold my car, sold my house. I'll go out well-dressed and return shoeless, shirtless in exchange for drugs.
I was seeing things that were not real, and I once stabbed myself because I felt something crawling under my skin.
I contacted NDLEA and started therapy.
I spent 3 months in therapy.
I spent 8 months.
It's easy to relapse, but your mind has to be stronger than the cravings.
Drugs does not love you. You are not the one using drugs. Drugs are the one using you. Say no to drug abuse.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here.
Oh, thank you so much for staying tuned to Unity 93.3 FM and TV this lovely Wednesday morning, the 22nd of November 2023. Petrus Adamu Ije remains my name this morning, and in the studio it has been Professor P.H. Mayi, Dean, Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, University of Cheers, and together we have handled the first segment of Unity Train. Believe me, my was just to throw all that is obtainable on our national dailies, and Prof did justice to all of those. And but there is just one thing he would have to say, and then we just go on. My guest, of course, he's already seated in the studio, and the topic promises to be very, very interesting. But in a minute or two, I'll let Professor P.H. Bame get to talk around some of the issues we left from the recent segment. Prof, we have a lot of issues. The Lafia Shandam Road, and also a huge amount of money spent and other things by the elite.
Yes, the Lafia Shandam Road has been what you would call a death trap. It's not the only bad road we have. We have so many bad roads around the country. But we are glad that this particular one is coming to limelight. This road links Nasarawa State, Plateau State, Taraba State, even Bauchi State. But the condition of the road is highly deplorable. The potholes there have become death holes. Many people have lost their lives over the several months and some years now. And I'm happy that the Federal Road Maintenance Agency is looking at how to rehabilitate the road. So whatever it will cost to rehabilitate that road, I think it is worth it. Because whatever you do to protect, preserve one human life, I mean, it's worth it, even if you spend $1 billion. So whatever money will be spent by FERMA, the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, to rehabilitate that road should be done decisively as soon as possible. The other issue is the jamborees that go on in government houses across the country. About ₦1 trillion, about ₦1 trillion spent on traveling, on entertainment, eating food, and some other frivolities in government houses across the country, in different states, by our politicians.
Yes.
I've had the privilege to go to a few government houses, and I see the level of waste. The breakfast alone is a big feast that will cost millions. Then the lunch is another one, the dinner also. So in a day, you spend millions on feeding people, entertaining people, the guests that come around, and then a lot of money is spent traveling across the country, traveling outside the country, hiring planes, chartering. I think that's the word. You charter a flight to go to India, charter a flight to go to Pakistan or different parts of the world. A lot of money is wasted. And while that is happening, the average Nigerian cannot even feed himself. This is what we've been talking about. People cannot feed themselves. People cannot pay school fees of their children. People don't even have, good shelter over their heads. People cannot afford basic needs across the country. But when you see the humongous amount of money that is spent by our politicians, you'll be amazed. So I think this is where we need to keep shouting that there is need to cut down the cost of governance.
All right.
Do just the things that are necessary. Do you have to travel all the time? I mean, technology has advanced now. You can do Zoom meetings with other politicians all over the world. You can put across a phone call. You can do so many things online now. You don't need to keep traveling. But many of our politicians travel because of the Estacot. And the humongous amount of money in millions and billions that they'll be getting from these foreign trips and unnecessary frivolity. So I think this is a call to our politicians that please think about the average citizens. Think about the masses. Whichever state you are privileged to be, whether a governor, an assembly member, a chairman, or a federal house of representative or senator, whatever position you are holding, please think about Nigerians that cannot eat a meal in a day. When you are spending money on these frivolities, think about them. And please be prudent with the resources that God has given us in this nation.
All right, thank you very much, Prof. And now we'll be talking about 18th to 24th of November, it's World Antimicrobial Awareness Week. And of course, today we'll be looking at a topic that has to do with overlooked pandemic of antimicrobial resistance. And so in the studio this morning, it's an honor to have a professional, someone who is able to do this. And he is Dr. Ibrahim Ayuba Asini, a fellow College of Veterinary Surgeons of Nigeria, an epidemiologist working with Epidemiology Division with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Abuja. He is seated in the studio, and together, let's look at this topic. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Now, it sounds like one language that I need to. So what are we talking about when we say this that has to do with antimicrobial resistance?
Well, antimicrobial resistance is a medical condition whereby the microbes, what we mean by the microbes, we mean the bacteria, the fungi, the parasites, and the viruses are no longer responding to drugs, commonly used drugs that we use to treat. So that is just what it means. And of course, it does not just happen like that. There are some triggers that could lead to that kind of condition. So the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, in collaboration with the WHO, that is World Health Organization, and then the World Organization for Animal Health, are collaborating to create awareness among stakeholders. And what we mean by stakeholders, we mean the veterinarians, the livestock farmers. Livestock farmers include the poultry, the piggery, the aquaculture, and all the farmers across that value chain. We also look at the feed millers. We also look at the live bird marketers. So we are trying to create awareness so that they will know the threat this antimicrobial resistance poses to the public health, that is the general health of the public.
All right. Truly, this topic, it has to do with a lot of people, and our listener and the viewer out there would want to know some more, because I've listened to people, talking about it doesn't longer work. This medicine will not work again. Even if you take it, it will not work.
That is what the resistance is all about.
Oh.
The
causes now.
Yes.
What possible must have caused that?
Okay, the causes of antimicrobial resistance are many. It's a multifactorial cause. One, it could be due to self-medication. When the farmers go into go to the veterinary clinics, buy antibiotics and begin to administer to the animal without doctor's prescription. Sometimes it could be that the feed millers are using them, some of the antimicrobials, as growth promoters. When you add to the feed a little dose of antimicrobial into the feed, and you keep doing that continuously, you're administering a sub-therapeutic dose of those drugs into the animals, and it gives chance to the organisms to be able to develop resistance against those microbes.
Dr. Sini, it's very good to hear you. Prof, I'm sure you would have to say one or two things here as well.
You know, to put it in a layman's term, when you're talking about antimicrobial resistance, the drugs that are supposed to kill germs are no longer able to kill the germs because the germs have developed some form of protection against the drugs. So the drugs will not affect them. And just like Dr. Sini was just saying now, sometimes you have people put these antibiotics, for example, and this subtherapeutic means that it is not enough to kill the germs. But it is there. And this bacteria, for example, coming in contact with this drug, and it's not able to kill them, but it is able to stimulate them to feel that this is a threat. And because this is a threat, the bacteria will find a way to counter this threat. So many things can happen within the organism. Some mutation can take place. And when that happens, it means that the next time you apply this same antibiotic, this same drug, for example, even at a therapeutic, at a level that is supposed to destroy the organism, it will not destroy the organism. Because the organism has developed resistance. This happens, could be, viewers and listeners, not only in the veterinary cycle, the human medics are experiencing the same problem in our hospitals. So people go to the counter and they just buy antibiotics. And they just keep taking the antibiotics. And it was not prescribed for them. Even when it is prescribed, they don't follow the dosage. They just take it anyhow they want. You know, maybe when they're supposed to take 500 milligrams, they will say, no, I will just take 200 milligrams. Maybe they're supposed to take it 3 times a day. They will say, no, I'll take it once a day. You know, they have become doctors of themselves, doing a lot of self-medication. And this is a major threat because this is a pandemic that we are not talking about, because the time will come when antibiotics will not be working for the general population of the world and people will be dying in mass. Already, the statistics shows that 1.27 million people around the world die as a direct result of antimicrobial resistance. And about 5 million deaths annually are associated with antimicrobial resistance around the world. And this is alarming. And that is why we need to talk about this.
Okay, talking about this antimicrobial resistance, now bringing it to the fact that human beings are also involved in that. I'll go back to Dr. Sini. Now, what awareness would you love to get to pass across to our viewer and our listener at this point? Especially because it's not just limited to animals. Now, Prof has just established that human beings also would get to want to prescribe for themselves what drugs to take and when to take, even when the appropriate prescription is given. You find out that people don't respect that, and it's becoming dangerous. How dangerous is that?
Yes, Prof has already highlighted some of the dangers. By the year 2030, it's been projected that antimicrobial related issues or death could reach up to 10 million. That's the danger. That's to show the danger of it. So how do we avoid that? That is the awareness. We are trying to sensitize the farmers that what they are doing is wrong. That is the first step. You need to know something before you take corrective measures. It's possible that some of these farmers are doing that without knowing the health implication or the dangers or the challenges that this thing costs. But this movement or this idea or this World Antimicrobial Week is an idea that is aimed at raising the awareness of all the stakeholders to know that this is a problem, and also to deepen their understanding of the challenge at hand. And also we are looking at a chance if we can create awareness on the use of promote use of alternative, so that we'll be able to avert future disaster. Antimicrobial resistance.
Looking at the number of people expected to be affected by such, now I think it's about time for us to start this awareness program. Also, I think it's part of it. But what do you think should be done better so that to make sure probably we curtail the number of people expected maybe in the future will be affected by this?
Yes, the farmers should take corrective measures. They should stop self-medication, one.
That's one.
And then stick to prescriptions when given by the medical or vet doctors. Because if you look at the global statistics, 70% of antimicrobials or 70% of antibiotics are being used in animals. So we encourage farmers to at least adhere to doctor's prescription, avoid self-medication, and also observe the withdrawal period. And what we mean by withdrawal period is the time between when you administer the drug and when you can present the animal free of the drug residue for consumption. For every drug, there is always a prescription or a manual that comes with it, a leaflet that comes with it. It's advisable that the farmer should be able to read, because on that leaflet contains the withdrawal period. So if you administer an antibiotic to an animal when sick, and you for any reason want to salvage that animal, you should also be mindful of the withdrawal period, so that you don't push such kind of antibiotic residue contained in those animal products into the public for consumption.
What Dr. Shirye is saying, Obi, is that when these drugs are used in animals, the residue is still there in the meat, which is consumed by human beings. And when human beings take it, we are taking subtherapeutic levels. We are taking low levels of those same antibiotics that are also used in human beings. So those antibiotics used in animals are also used in human beings. And so we take those subtherapeutic levels that cannot kill the germs, and then the germs will develop resistance. When you now need to be treated with penicillin in the hospital, it will not be working. You are treated with tetracycline, it's not working. You are treated with various other antibiotics, it's not working. Just recently, one of our colleagues, they took the child to the hospital. They tried the first antibiotic, it wasn't working. The second one, the third one, different antibiotics were not working. The child was not recovering. First day, second day, third day. Why? Because of what we are talking about, antimicrobial resistance. That's why sometimes, some people go to the hospital and maybe the doctor treats them, and then they say, oh, this doctor doesn't know his job, he has been treating me, I'm not getting any better. But there is some resistance, from the bacteria against the antibiotic. That's why in the laboratories they do AST antibiotic sensitivity tests. Here, for example, in the Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, University of Jos, at our veterinary teaching hospital, one of the antibiotics we found that the microorganisms in the animals around have developed resistance. Not the only one, but I think this number one that I have observed is oxytetracycline. So we've been having cases of animals that are sick, and they will treat them with oxytetracycline, they will not recover. When we do AST, we found that the bacteria have developed resistance to oxytetracycline. In fact, just yesterday at the faculty board, I was telling colleagues, don't use oxytetracycline again. No, stop using oxytetracycline because it's not working. And some other antibiotics also, you find some level of resistance by this microorganism to these antibiotics that ordinarily will have killed this bacteria. But the bacteria are no more being affected by them. And this is a big issue because you know that the advent of antibiotic therapy, or antimicrobial therapy generally, has saved millions of lives around the world. Before we had these antimicrobials, people were dying, even hospitals were more or less like mortuaries, because when they do surgeries, the people would die of infection. And hospitals were full of infection before antibiotics were invented. When antibiotics and other antimicrobials were invented, I mean, it was a revolution as far as medicine was concerned. But about maybe 100 years later, we are having this big pandemic that you have multi-drug resistant bacteria now.
Wow.
That you would treat the person with 10 different antibiotics, the person will not recover. And it is happening around the world. You know, there was a case of someone in India that was having tuberculosis. No antibiotic worked on the person, and they lost the patient. And we have many of these cases around the world, even here in Nigeria. So what is going to happen is, if something drastic is not done in the near future, people will be dying in millions. They'll be treating them, but they will just be dying. That's why we're saying that, look, since about 70% of antibiotics, for example, are used in animals, we would need to create awareness among those who handle animals, animal farmers, those who use these antibiotics indiscriminately. Just like Dr. Sini mentioned, do you know that some of these people just keep giving antibiotics almost every day, every day, day in, day out. They just administer antibiotics to the animals.
Some of the people that sells this, especially when it comes to animals, they just go to someone, maybe not even a professional.
Yeah, it's over the counter. They just buy it over the counter.
And then you just put like
they have it in their houses.
Say put one
sachet. They just put it. They don't even know about dose or anything. Yes, they just put it if the water is colored. That's all.
Yes.
Yeah. In addition to what Prof has just said,
yes,
one other major issue that we are facing right now is that we still have banned drugs that are still in circulation. And some of these drugs have been proven to be carcinogenic. Not only the resistance aspect of
what
carcinogenic means that these are drugs that have potential of causing cancer.
Oh,
wow. Yes, so that's what it means. And we still have a lot of these drugs used in animals, and then you have residues. You have residues of these animals being passed to human beings. For example, if we have furazolidone, for example, furazolidone has been proved to cause cancer in humans, and you still have these drugs being in circulation almost everywhere. So these are the kind of orientations we're trying to create among farmers. We're advising them to stay away from such kind of drugs. And also very important is pesticides. Pesticide residues is also becoming a very big issue. You know, pesticides, all these chemicals we use for either in farming to control weed, or some of them we use it to treat our yield against insects. Yes, some of these like DDT, aldrazine, all these chemicals are being overused, and these chemicals still find their way into the human system.
Wow, I think it's a big one, and then we'll have to go on a short break, and when we come back, you'll be telling us, of course, yourself and Prof in the studio, how do I identify the right product? Is it meat this time around, so that I will know this one will not cause anything cancer? How do I get to identify this? Because I can't do without eating some meat someday. Anyway, thank you, our viewer and our listener. Please stay tuned. We'll go on a short break. We'll be coming back. Stay tuned.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your
Unity. Unity TV.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Tune to Unity 93.3 FM from the city of Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria. We are reaching you live today. Don't forget, is Wednesday, the 22nd of November 2023. Bitrus Adamu Iji remains my name, the anchor of Unity Trend this morning. And in the studio, it has been Professor or PH Bamayi and Dr. Sini in the studio. And we've been talking a health issue as it concerns every one of you, our viewer and our listener. And so let's just go straight forward before I put on the studio line so that you can call and we get to hear from you. I want to beg that let's buy into your time so that I'll let Dr. and Professor Bamayi to just tell us what we need to hear, what we need to know more so that you can call and then we hear from you. The studio line remains the same. You can also follow us on our social media platform, Facebook to be precise. Just go Unity FM Radio /TV Jos. You drop your comments there. I'll get to read them. And for SMS, just go 07080 847-89999 for SMS. And for the studio line, it remains 07032353315. Doctor, very quickly, let's just take 2 or 3 minutes to talk about how do I get to identify the right thing to eat and to drink?
Well, physically, as in just physically, there is no way you can identify some of these things. Yes, because when we say microbe, it means something that is not seen with the naked eye. Even in the lab, they use a microscope with varieties of magnification power to see or to view some of these things. And that is why we are targeting, we are controlling it right from the production level.
Okay, to control it right from the production level.
Yes, because the farmers, if the farmers will adhere or observe the withdrawal period, if they will stick to doctor's prescription, and then avoid self-medication, and then also not patronize some of these banned products, then the chances are high that you can control it.
Okay.
So this program, this campaign, which is a week-long activity starting from 18th to 24th, is targeting the farmers.
Okay.
To raise their awareness.
All right.
To tell them what to do and how to do it.
Okay.
So at that level, we'll be able to protect the general public.
Okay, so the farmer is now the very person who is supposed to help out in this case.
That is it.
All right, Prof, anything to add up here too?
You see, because these farmers have these antibiotics in their possession, they have it, they administer, for example, poultry farmers will administer antibiotics periodically to their birds. Some of them will do it every day. And when it is time to sell the birds, they will not observe the withdrawal period, the timeline between which, at the end of using an antibiotic, it is now safe to consume the meat or the eggs. Usually it's an average of 2 weeks, 14 days. They don't observe it. So you raise broilers, you've used the antibiotics, you just go and sell them. Maybe spent layers that have been on antibiotics, you just dispose them. You know, the eggs, you also just sell them without, in fact, I don't think I've ever seen any poultry farmer with layers that has bothered himself about a withdrawal period for eggs. You know, maybe for broilers, but for eggs.
What even is that withdrawal period?
Because that withdrawal period means that if the birds have been on antibiotic for a certain period, about 14 days, the eggs should not be consumed. Yes, don't consume those eggs.
I think we are getting it now.
So don't consume those eggs, but I can guarantee you that you hardly find any farmer that would observe that. At least for eggs. Maybe in broilers. Even the broilers, very few of them. Because if the broilers have been on antibiotic up to the 7, 8, 9 week when they're ready for the table, the farmer will just feel maybe he was trying to treat a sickness along the way, you know, so he administers some antibiotics. The next day he will just sell them. So you're going to have antibiotic residues, you know, in the meat, in the poultry meat. So these are some of the issues that bring about this antimicrobial resistance. Because we're going to consume these residues, and they're not enough to destroy any germ or do anything, but they will stimulate these microorganisms. These microorganisms will now develop resistance against the antibiotic. When the humans are now using them for therapy, for treatment, the antibiotics will not work. So this has been happening for you. The same thing in livestock farmers. They administer antibiotic to a goat or to cattle, and then they don't observe the withdrawal period, and the goat is slaughtered, or the cattle is slaughtered, and is in the market. People are eating it already. No withdrawal period observed, nothing. So this is a problem. This is why we are targeting these farmers to educate them, sensitize them. They need to be aware of the dangers of what they're doing, because many of them don't know what they're doing.
They don't know. And we're having, farmers. Everybody tends to, become a farmer to some levels, and we have everyone becoming a farmer.
Yes.
And they don't know all of these things.
They don't
Isn't
know.
there any agency or any task force so also to help curtail this? It's dangerous to the people.
Yes, that's why they're here. Their colleague is also here. We have an epidemiology unit on the plateau, both federal and state, and they work with the Department of Veterinary Services within the state to ensure that people are aware and people obey some of these instructions. For enforcement, it has been a difficult thing. How do you enforce? Because people are rearing animals almost everywhere. Here on the plateau, even dogs are food animals, People consume dogs. The dogs abattoir in Bukulu and other places, they slaughter dogs almost on a daily basis. And they pump a lot of antibiotics into some of those dogs. So almost every animal. Is it fish you want to take? Antibiotics. They administer antibiotics. Some of them use antibiotics as growth promoters to promote growth in those animals. So they administer it to their pigs, and so that the animals would get fattened within a short period of time. But they don't know the danger of what they're doing, because these animals will ultimately be consumed by human beings. And then with time, because of the subtherapeutic levels of these antibiotics in the humans, and it is the same antibiotics that will be used in humans for treatment. the organisms will have developed resistance. And so the antibiotics will be useless when we're using them for treatment. And that is why we need to be careful, because some antimicrobial experts have said that if something is not done, we're heading towards an apocalypse. An apocalypse is like the end of the world is coming soon because of antimicrobial resistance. Because what is going to happen if in the nearest future no antibiotic works? What are we going to do? We just sit down and watch people die? Because antibiotics are saving millions of lives every day. So if they're not working, what are we going to do? The doctors will just sit down and be watching people die, watch animals die, watch the world come to an end. Because you can imagine now that you have a small issue with maybe typhoid, an antibiotic is going to help you. Somebody has an issue with some infection, upper respiratory or lower respiratory infection, antibiotic is helping the person, somebody, has a cut, there is a wound, antibiotic will help to stop infection. What is going to happen if the antibiotics are not working? The person will just wait and be sick. And then the infection keeps multiplying and takes the life of the person. That's why some people are raising the alarm that, look, we're heading towards an apocalypse. There is an apocalyptic kind of prediction. But we don't want to, be apocalyptic, but we're saying that there is great danger. And something must be done, not only by the farmers, the stakeholders, even governments, regulatory agencies. We need to come up with regulations and we need to enforce, because it is the government that has the power of enforcement. You and I, are you going to enforce, go and arrest somebody at the risk of your life? It is the government, the executive that control the security agencies, the police, for example, that can enforce, maybe arrest people when they're abusing some of these drugs. But we feel that in this World Antimicrobial Awareness Week, if there is enough sensitization and awareness created, when the farmers themselves know that they're not only harming their customers, they're also harming themselves because they also consume these animal products, they will choose to obey instructions and do the right thing. One of our colleagues met with a Fulani community and he enlightened them that, look, there is great danger the way people just keep administering antibiotics anyhow, because you meet some of these cattle herders, Fulanis, they have antibiotics. They have their what we call long-acting antibiotics. They know how to administer it. They have it in their possession. Some of them will show you there are varieties of antibiotics. And when he told them that, look, there is something called antimicrobial resistance. Yes. And when you just administer these drugs, you don't observe withdrawal period, you take the milk, you consume the meat, you do all this, there might be antimicrobial resistance with time. Antibiotics will not work. That is so the Ardo was even alarmed when he got this awareness. He said, so it's like this. He said, yeah, our colleague said it is like that. He said, look, he's going to talk to all his people and they're going to be very careful. They will not be using antibiotics by themselves. They will bring in the experts and they will observe the withdrawal period, because he said that his aged mother doesn't take anything apart from milk from the cows. And so when this antibiotic goes in, it goes into the milk. And she is consuming subtherapeutic levels of the antibiotic in the milk that she drinks milk every day. So one day they will need to maybe treat her for one infection or the other, and the antibiotics will not work. It's a big issue.
Okay, maybe I'll just give you a minute so that we put on the studio line. Doctor?
Yes, we encourage farmers to join associations, union.
Okay.
For example, the poultry farmers, we have the poultry association.
All right.
The pig farmers, we have the pig associations.
Okay.
Likewise, the aquaculture, that's the fish. So it's a very important thing, because when the government deals with farmers, they don't deal with them at the individual level.
Yes.
And like the training we're about to organize now, we are working in collaboration with the poultry farmers. So you cannot benefit
if you don't belong to it.
If you don't belong to it. So if you know that you are a farmer, that you are just operating independent, we don't encourage that.
Okay.
Yes. Right. And then secondly, we encourage farmers also to patronize qualified veterinary doctors. Presently, the Veterinary Council of Nigeria is working on how to reorganize, to restructure the system in such a manner that farmers will be able to know who is who. So the vet doctors will be able to guide you. You know, most times the quacks will always give you services at a very cheap or affordable rate. But you miss out some of these details when you just patronize them without getting. So the guidance will come from the medical, the veterinary doctor.
Oh my! Could be, let's tell the farmers that they can download the Veterinary Council of Nigeria app.
Okay.
If they want to know those who are quacks and those who are true veterinarians.
Oh, I see.
There is an app on Google Play. Google Play. Yes. The app is Veterinary Council of Nigeria. Veterinary Council of Nigeria, VCN. Veterinary Council of Nigeria. That app is on Google Play. If they download that app on their phones, their devices, if somebody tells you he's a doctor and he wants to treat your animal, just ask him, what is your VCN number?
Okay, VCN number.
VCN number.
All right.
Enter the VCN number on the app. If the person is a registered licensed veterinarian, the app will show you and give you the details.
And if it's not?
And if it is not, you will also notice on the app.
And then what do you do next? Then you hand them
Then
over.
you don't patronize them. That's when you know the true vet and the quack.
Okay, and so it should end at not patronizing.
Yes,
I thought it would get to a point where you hand them over to.
Well, if
relevant authority to take it up from there.
Enforcement agency, that's the next stage that we should work on, where law enforcement can be called in and to handle such quacks.
Right.
Unfortunately, we have so much quackery across the country. When I was in Abeokuta a few months ago, a quack was arrested actually and handed over to the police.
All right.
Before I left Abeokuta, he was already in the police net.
All right. Oh, thank you very much, viewer and listener. Truly apologize. Now the studio line is on. You may want to call. I'll be reading in between calls from the Facebook and of course SMS. Hello, good morning. Your name and location. Thank you. Your name. Good morning. It's good to have you. Your name and location, please.
Yes. Good morning, Professor and colleagues.
Thank you. You're welcome. Madam Christy Zang, I want to believe.
Yes.
Yes, Christy Zang from Okubaru.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you. You know, this, whatever you're talking about, that affects both humans and animals.
Yes.
Antimicrobial resistance.
I've seen so many people administer drugs to themselves and to their animals. I have somebody close to me. There are sometimes her animals get sick and she just goes to buy paracetamol or whatever. She just buys drugs for humans and give them. So I've listened to one program on radio one day, and I told her that when her animals are sick, she should visit a veterinary doctor or veterinary hospital. And I told her that there's one in Kolu. She can go there. She was just laughing at me and saying that she has been giving her animals those things and it works. So she doesn't have to go anywhere to any doctor. So you know this kind of people, they need sensitization. Serious sensitization should be done because as you are talking, it's like it is a time bomb we're sitting on. So I just want to ask our professor in the house, since he's a veterinary personnel, I think he should do something so that people will get more educated on the risks of just giving animals anything, and at the end of the day, it affects us.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Christy Zang. Of course, remember comments made on this platform.
Time bomb.
Yes, and comments made on this platform, remember, they're not the position of Unity 93.3 FM. And you need also to just stick to the rules, promoting peaceful coexistence. And that is it. Just to say, every day in Nigeria is new drama. Whatever the House of Assembly wants to do should please put plateau first before self. And I pray the whole court ruling will be done faster so that we can see governance in action. Both Dr. Nentawe and Barrister Caleb are men of integrity. Peace to Plateau State. Thank you so much, Charity Harley. And this one says, good morning, gentlemen of the praise. I'm always glad to hear from you, Prof. Have a lovely day. From Habibu Sabitu Mailele. Thank you. And this one is saying, good morning, Unity Train. Continue the good work. May God bless you, people. And this one is from Gopep Mutaki. Okay. And this one says, good morning, Kubi and the Prof in the studio. I'm watching you live from Rico's new layout. The law is low. I always say it, but some politicians are playing with the constitutions of the country. That's why that shows that court has the power to use the constitution at the right way. Is a lesson for all politicians in the country. Example, what's happening in Kano State, Plateau State. Okay, that's Aminu Abdullahi Shuaibu. And this one is saying from Kenneth Tahiru, saying, morning Unity Train, keep on the good work of informing the public or relevant political issues and beyond. More grace to your elbow and stay blessed. Morning once more. That's the much we can take. Let me quickly again see what we have on the SMS, and time is not on our side. Prof and Doctor will be, you may need to hurry up. I don't think I have much time to, and you need to say something.
Yes,
once
I
you're done in a minute.
This is a call, first and foremost, the farmers, those who keep animals. Please don't administer any medication to animals without prescription. And please don't self-medicate. Call the appropriate professionals. We have veterinarians all over the country. They are there. They are licensed and trained to treat animals. So employ the services of veterinarians instead of giving any form of medication by yourself. When you do that, you might not know the implication. Nothing might happen 1, 2 days, 1 week, 1 month, even 1 year, but it's building up, it's a time bomb. And by the time it begins to happen, we might not be able to control it. So why don't we do something now? And the second call will go to the government, agencies that are responsible for regulation. Let's up our game and do what we're supposed to do to regulate what happens in the animal industry, where we have people who just come in and do anything they feel like doing. And of course, the third call will go to those of us who are professionals. It is high time we arise and do what we are trying to do, because others are doing the work that we're supposed to be doing. Let's take back our jobs and let's do it diligently, because antimicrobial resistance is a pandemic and it is a public health threat. If we allow things go on the way they are going right now, we might be heading towards an apocalypse.
In the word of Christie, time bomb. Wow. Okay, in 2 minutes, Doctor, I'll just read this out. There's a question for you. Okay. This one says, I could be Prof and Doctor, thank you so much for your selfless duty. You are a blessing to humanity. Doctor, what can you say about expired drugs, both human and animals, and also many of us users? Beg, may Allah save our houses from angels of punishment. May He spread His mercy on us, good health, peace, and be our helper. Hassan Garba.
The answer is very simple.
All right.
Of course, when you say something is expired, when the manufacturer tells you that by this time, this product will expire, he is the manufacturer. Right. So what else do you think you know better than the manufacturer? So I encourage you not to patronize expired drugs. Not to. They may be cheap compared to the ones that are not expired, but at the end, it's not going to be your benefit. It's not going to benefit you in any way, because when a drug is expired, it becomes a poison. It's a poison.
Wow.
Yes, it could be that there are some changes in the chemical structure of the drugs. So the drugs may no longer do what it's supposed to do. It may go contrary to what it's supposed to do.
Sure.
So it becomes a poison. So I advise farmers and also the public, whenever you are dealing with drugs, always check the expiring date. And that should guide you on whether or not to buy the drugs.
Wow. Sitting on a time bomb is not an easy thing, especially in a world where people don't get to give out their animals for people to consume. It's only when the animal has been treated and when they discover it's like it's not going to survive it, they want to sell it out so that you and I can get to eat out of it. It's a time bomb, and something has to be done urgently. Thank you so much, our listener and our viewer. With this, we have come to the end of today's edition of Unity Train. I want to appreciate the fact that Professor will always be here for us each time we call, even as late as it be. Prof, thank you. Dr. Ibrahim Ayubasini, it's good to have you. Our viewer and our listener, it's good to have you as well. Tomorrow is going to be another beautiful day. But for now, do have yourself a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long.